Hey everybody, how's it going? It is Max and Trev. We're back with another full analysis of
Full.
Game of Thrones. Yeah, full of season 6, episode 3. Um this episode was unbelievable, and the way we do these is actually we're going to be going through literally the whole episode scene by scene, totally continuous, okay? We're not going to be jumping guns here. We're going to be literally playing it scene by scene. We're going to be giving our thoughts. We're going to be giving what we thought of the scene, and we're going to be delving deep into what may happen in the future, and some analysis in there. And then wait to the end because we're going to be doing a really good episode 4 prediction. I got a couple of ideas, and I'm sure Trev does too.
I'm full of them.
Yeah, he's full of ideas. So without wasting any time, let's get right into the recap. All right, so we are at the wall.
Goes without saying, from now on, I'm not saying in the next one. Spoilers.
You're the spoiler. We always bring it in way too late. Okay, guys, spoilers.
No, we shouldn't have to say that. If you're watching a Game of Thrones video, we assume that you've watched it. Don't watch our stuff unless you've watched it. How about that?
Yeah, you be warned. All right, so in the last episode, Jon is resurrected. All right, so now we're back with Jon.
He was?
Oh yeah, great. I'm sorry, Trev. That's a spoiler alert.
Just kidding.
Anyways, so Jon gets resurrected, and I liked how they didn't delay it. Okay, Jon's resurrected. Here's the immediate fallout of what happened after his resurrection. He starts breathing. He's kind of coming to, and I loved his kind of reaction. He was kind of scared and shocked and looking at his stab wounds. And he made it very clear that he shouldn't be here and that he saw nothing after death. After Melisandre harped on him to try and figure out what it was.
Yeah.
Which didn't surprise me because Beric Dondarrion said the exact same thing.
No, it's the void.
Yeah, exactly. And then Melisandre goes on to say that in a sense she was wrong and that Stannis is not the prince that was promised. And she said that someone has to be. But at this point, Jon doesn't really seem like he wants to take that role.
No, he's... that. I feel like that's the change that everyone's expecting out of him. Is he's just he experienced the void, and that changed him. He's life is way worth living for than this bullshit. And you see it huge in this episode as we get into it a little bit deeper. But
no, I'm glad that you brought that up because I really want to talk about Jon's change as a character. So everyone, for some reason, I don't know why they want to take things way out of proportion and say Jon Snow's going to be a different person when he comes back. We both never thought he'd be a different person.
No, just intentions would change.
Yeah, Jon's character didn't change, only his experience. If you are at a mall and something tragic happens, it doesn't change your character. It evolves you as a person because you've experienced something new.
Yeah.
So the reason Jon is going to be... He's going to be a little bit more... he might have a darker side. He may see life differently now because he's seen the other side. And that can change a person in, crazy, unimaginable ways.
This spun around in my head pretty much all day. Everyone thinks now that he's back, that he's going to be some, white knight that's going to come down and save everyone. I think it's more he's just going to be, a knight in the sense that he's always been. He just wants to help people. And he's going to be preaching in the sense that, hey, guys, there's nothing after death. So you better start fighting because I'm telling you. And it's just his story will just travel through his actions. He is going to be the reason why people rally together. And anyone who doesn't want to follow him will die because it's way more important to follow Jon in this instance.
Yeah, and right now I see him as kind of having no purpose. After being revived, he kind of sees life as kind of inconsequential. It's just so baffling. I feel like he's in a place right now where he doesn't have an agenda. He doesn't know what he wants to do, and he's kind of...
Yeah, they really left it open.
Kind of stuck. And the reason they went... this kind of proves that there's going to be no warging for the other Stark children, except for only Bran.
Yeah.
I would say. If they would want to show that Jon is a warg, now would be the time, and they missed that opportunity, so you're not going to see that.
I just think it's weird, so both people that have actually died in this world said, and brought back, of course, have said that there's nothing beyond death. But then you have, Melisandre and you have Thoros, and you have all these other like dark wizards and stuff like that that see stuff in the light and stuff like that. So it seems strange to me that like there's magic that's in the world that we can see, that we've seen, that it's not hidden from us. But then when you die, it's just gone. Like there's no afterlife. There's some interesting things at play there.
No, that's what I was thinking, and that's what's so fascinating is that there are so many gods that people pray to, and that we've had proof that some of these gods actually listen. But then on the other side of it, there's nothing with death. But then, if you look at maybe the old gods, maybe the old gods all along was the blood raven sitting in that tree.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's not a god floating in the sky. It's a god that's actually living on that planet.
Yeah.
And what I find fascinating is with Jon Snow is that, over his character arc, in season 2, when he was talking to Qyburn Halfhand, I remember him saying, he's like, I would be glad to give my life for the Watch. And then Qyburn Halfhand was like, I don't want you to be glad about it. You need to fight like hell, whatever. And I think after Jon's resurrection, that's what he realized.
Yeah.
Life is worth fighting for. I will not go gladly give my life. And he'll lose some honor there. But he's seen the other side.
Yeah, exactly.
And his honor is not worth revisiting the other side.
That's what I mean. I don't think now he's going to profess that he's some savior or some hero. I just really think he's like, hey guys, like you really don't know what is coming, and after, if you get killed, like there's nothing.
Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah,
it's
he's
more
just
subtle than like some white knight that's coming down to save everybody.
No, yeah, he's not coming. He's going to be the savior just because that's who he is as a character. He's not going to mean to.
Yeah, exactly.
And then another thing I want to touch on is I found fascinating how Arya knew this all along. Syrio Forel told her that only one god exists, and his name is Death. And all you do is you tell Death, not today. And Jon, I feel like, has been molded over time. His beliefs has changed when growing up, believing in the old gods, and then seeing the other side with the wildlings and realizing that there's more to this world than he's been taught. And now experiencing death, it's almost like everything is gone, and now it is true. Like he sees death is a god, because once it takes you, you're done. And he's going to continually tell Death, not today, not today.
I just saw
when in the past he would fully accept it. So I think it's funny how now it took him 6 seasons to learn what Arya was taught in the first season.
Yeah, this is just kind of breaking news in my head. What if this is what the White Walkers are motivated by? Like
by death.
Yeah, they're like, holy shit, we're gonna die too. We need to make a move.
Yeah,
because or maybe it seems pretty awful. He was
exactly.
shaken
and then
to
the
idea,
core
about it.
Like, do White Walkers age? Are they longing for death?
Oh, maybe it's a trade-off or something. They're trying to get themselves killed. No, I don't know. It's tough to say. There's something powerful that motivates them, definitely.
Yeah, we're gonna have to sit down for a couple hours to figure out that shit.
Yeah.
But I found that whole Jon thing really interesting.
Yeah, it kind of threw me off. I thought he would kind of be back, and they'd kind of give him a pep talk, and he'd sort of be on board with everything, but he seems opposite.
Yeah, he's rigid about it, and
like he doesn't even feel like he wants to help the wildlings right now. Like he's just like, fuck this.
Yeah,
like,
he's just dealing with his
fuck
own
this shit.
Yeah, with his own personal problems. And then what I like about it, all of his memories there. He's still is gonna know his family. He still has the same ideas. It's just his whole world's been kind of thrown upside down, and he needs to kind of adapt to that.
Yeah, he just realized how shitty the world is that he lived in.
Yeah, and then and then just him kind of coming to terms with them betraying him, and he thinks he did wrong, and like he doesn't want to mess up again because he's afraid of dying, and then all those things are really interesting.
Yeah.
And then he finally leaves, and you see Tormund. You get a little humor here, which I like.
Yeah.
Tormund said he had a tiny pecker.
Yeah.
And then they hug it out. I love Tormund. And then Dolores Ed, where he's wondering if he's asking if Jon is still in there, and then Jon says, please don't burn my body.
Yeah.
And then, you're a funny guy. And then, and then maybe Jon isn't in there after all.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the importance of that scene is just to kind of establish to the audience that this is Jon Snow, because there was a big following that he would be literally this totally different person. But it's more of the experience and how it changes the character.
Yeah.
And in this situation, if you were running the show, would you have done anything differently, or did you think they kind of portrayed this perfectly?
I don't know. This is uncharted territory now, so there's a reason for this stuff. So
Yeah.
they're very calculated when it comes to this stuff. So it's hard to say whether I wouldn't do it because I can't really see the future.
And then knowing what kind
It's
of
just throwing me for a loop. I feel like some things are very predictable here, other things are kind of very foggy, and this is definitely is in the foggy camp. This episode, at least, because it just leaves you wondering, like, especially for Jon. Hey, like, what's he doing next? That we know he's coming south. We know he's rallying people. What's in it for him right now on the next couple of episodes? Because I feel like he just like threw in the towel after all this.
Yeah, exactly. We'll come back to
Quite
Jon.
Literally.
We'll come back to Jon at the end of the episode. Now I just want to kind of go to Sam and Gilly. I found it kind of funny how, they cut to Sam and Gilly immediately after Jon and not to the Tower of Joy. Mm-hmm. But maybe it's kind of just to take away the superstition.
Yeah.
Of the relationship between the two. Mm-hmm. But so pretty much the relationship between Sam and Gilly, it was more of it's kind of a breather, I guess. It was more just kind of establishing the relationship between Sam and Gilly.
I was glad to see Sam. I was really thinking that we wouldn't see him till later in the series or later in the season, maybe even not this season at all, because I really thought they were just gonna like roll into Old Town whenever they needed to push that story along. But it's a cool diversion that he's gonna go see his dad, and that I think this is like I've always said since the beginning that this is like sort of lessons for every one of the characters, and I think he's gonna learn from his dad, not like fatherly advice, but like his dad's apparently a dick.
Oh, I think he's gonna learn how to. He used to be like a cowering to his dad, and he's actually grown a pair of nuts up at the wall.
Yeah, like he's a badass character, even though he's not very action oriented. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
He's smart and he's sort of coming of age in this sense.
No, I always loved Sam. So he's going to the Citadel, and the whole thing is that he can't bring a woman there, and she wouldn't like Sam's reasoning is she never would survive in Old Town on her own with the baby, so he wants to leave her at Hornhill with his family.
Yeah.
And he's kind of putting stock in, his mom and sister kind of being there for him. But I feel like it's going to come to Sam having to really give it to his dad.
No, exactly.
I kind of have that moment with him and be like, no, this is what's happening.
Oh, for sure. Like it's I just like I said, I'm glad to see Sam in this at all.
Yeah, and it just shocked me too because I thought Sam would be. I actually thought you thought he'd be in here less in the series less. I thought he was getting primary character status.
Yeah. Because
he was always by Jon's side, and he was considered kind of a primary character in season 5.
No, for sure.
So yeah, it's interesting now that I've seen this. I feel like there are only a couple beats that they can touch on.
Yeah, exactly.
Like there's them going to like Hornhill and then dealing with his family for maybe an episode or two, and then Sam going to the Citadel. So like he's totally taking a back seat. So I feel like we're hardly going to see him anymore, even though before I thought that he would be, a primary character.
I really thought they needed to have him training, but I guess
Sam training?
Yeah, Sam needs to know some shit about.
I wouldn't call it training.
Okay, but research.
Yeah, but like him reading a book, you know what I mean? Like I feel like you're gonna see little revelations here and there, but that's like, man, I think he gets to the Citadel. I'd say episode 8.
I feel like he has to be the one to say how to make dragon glass. Do you think?
Yeah, but you can mine it from Dragonstone. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm trying to figure what revelations he could come up with that we don't already know.
Maybe the motives behind the White Walkers, or maybe there's
the history and lore of like our, just looking in the past and seeing how the issue was solved and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, or maybe there was like a pact that was sort of signed or spoken.
Yeah, and then they kind of stored it in the Citadel, and just kind of over history, things have kind of evolved.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's Sam. Anyways, let's go over to the Tower of Joy.
And now it begins. No. Now it ends.
Amazing scene.
It was an amazing scene. I actually was really surprised, though, that we only saw half of it.
Yeah, it was a bit of a tease.
it was definitely a tease, which I'm wondering why they didn't do the full reveal. Why are they waiting?
Well, I was thinking about this today when we're reviewing our points here, and I think there's more to it than that, man. And we'll get into it as we go. So we'll start from the top. What are you thinking about this scene?
I think there's more to it. Okay, I'm interested to hear your opinion. So we start off with, Arthur Dayne, and I believe he has 2 other soldiers with forgive me, I don't know their names. And they're defending the tower and not Rhaegar. Rhaegar actually died in battle, which, Ned Stark kind of points out, why aren't you defending your king? Like, you're the freaking, like, Kingsguard, whatever.
Yeah.
It's not like, Kings...
He's like the dopest Kingsguard.
Yeah, so... But he's defending Lyanna, which kind of shows, obviously what's in the tower is important.
Well, we see, that's like... I'm trying to put it into a perspective. Nobody knows it's Lyanna in there. We're just assuming, right?
Yeah, and
everybody knows, but nobody knows.
Yeah, and it shows the value of... Actually, no, people do know, though, because people know that Rhaegar kidnapped Lyanna.
Yeah, I guess that's what he was going there for. Yeah, right, yeah.
I don't know. It can kind of be inferred, but he went there to rescue his sister.
Yes.
And they're there, which shows the importance of, how Rhaegar felt about his sister. Honestly, we don't really need to go crazy in depth over just, like, the strokes of R plus L equals J, because I feel like it's so common knowledge.
Too much to talk about. That's what my feelings on it. Like,
yeah.
It's too much down this road. This is like a whole podcast's worth. Right?
Yeah, but I really loved how, Arthur Dayne's like, and now it begins, and then young Ned Stark, and now it ends, and then we see Howland Reed, which is Mira Reed's dad.
Yeah.
I found it interesting. I feel like the show was trying to beat over our heads that was Mira's dad and Jojen's dad.
Yeah.
Which made me think that he is gonna have significance in the next couple, in the seasons to come. Mm-hmm. Maybe. We'll see. Because, in reality, he's the only one who knows of Jon Snow's parentage. I would say.
Yeah, that's true.
And Bran, So there are many angles, Bran is expected to leave his tree. That's a way Jon could find out. Howland Reed's another way he could find out. Or he just doesn't find out at all. Like, he doesn't need to know his heritage to make a difference.
Yeah, but I don't think they would skim that close to this scene and not go into it further. Like, maybe is it possible that Bran gets sort of ahead of himself and like secretly goes into the roots to see this scene on his own, right?
See, that's what I'm thinking. Or
because he keeps pulling him out.
Yeah, I'm thinking. Yeah, he's the Raven is really trying to keep him away from certain revelations, but we'll get to that.
Yeah. So
we have Howland Reed. They beat us over the head with Howland Reed. Oh, that's Mira's dad. He's the first one to get injured, so he gets cut,
big
and he's
time.
like just like on the ground.
I thought he died. I was like, what? I was trying to think. I was like, is he dead?
Yeah, and then it was 4-on-1. He's a fucking badass.
Yeah,
dual wielding.
That
Arthur
guy was
Dayne.
dope. I almost hope there was a spin-off from what we were talking earlier. I really wish there was like a Robert's Rebellion spin-off.
It would be so expensive, but I'd love it. It'd be great as like a 3-movie storyline, even though
like
I don't know if it would make money.
Movie, but yeah, who knows?
Yeah,
There's a lot of stuff there though.
Fantastic. But what I loved about it is, since they split the scene in half, they kind of need a purpose for this scene for the audience.
Yeah.
And in my mind, the whole point was that it was to show that Ned Stark isn't the 100% honorable Ned Stark. Like, it kind of humanized him when, Ned told his kids that when he fought Arthur Dayne, he defeated him, and that was the story. Mm-hmm. And that's what Bran believes until he's shocked to see that in the fight, it's Ned Stark versus Arthur Dayne, and then here comes Howland Reed stabbing him in the back.
So, was it explicitly said that Ned told him the story of this?
Yeah, Bran was shocked. He was standing back there saying, like, how did my dad defeat him? He's a really good fighter. He's not as good as blah, blah, blah. And the three-eyed Raven was like, maybe he didn't defeat him. And that's the whole thing, is Bran thought all along that his dad defeated him, but he actually didn't.
From his dad's mouth, though? Or from all the stories, like Benjen might have said it and all these people might have hyped him up?
It was a story. Yeah, yeah. You know what? That too. Like they hyped him up, but Ned Stark isn't the person to deny or accept. He's denied information from that incident to
Yeah, I feel
protect
like he
Jon.
just doesn't talk about it because, like, I was thinking more like if everybody knew Reed stabbed the guy in the back, he would look down upon him. But really, Reed saved Ned's life in that instant. So maybe they
Yeah,
just kind of agreed to, like, hey, like, I don't want to get bigged up here, but how else
yeah,
are we gonna sort this out?
yeah. And the thing with Ned is, he's honorable to a fault, but whenever he breaks its honor, it's only to protect his family, which I would say is more honorable.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's
Well, it's
just his
bullshit.
character.
Like,
And
like, okay, it was just advantageous. He didn't
yeah,
say, "Hey, Reed, stab him in the back."
I know.
Right?
But then he executed him. But yeah, so that was kind of a story going on that Ned killed him even though he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So it was interesting for that for Bran to kind of
Yeah.
realize that.
Too bad there wasn't a little bit more Arthur Dayne, man. He was dope.
Yeah, I was sick. He
Double
lasted the full 3
swords, like,
minutes.
come on.
Yeah, and then we get a hint. So after the killing of Arthur Dayne, we hear Lyanna Stark scream,
Mm-hmm.
pregnancy, probably immediate pregnancy.
Jumping the gun there, but yeah.
I guarantee that's what it is.
Well,
Pregnancy.
everybody knows, but nobody knows. That's what I mean. Like, it's such a tease this scene because everybody knows what happens at that scene, but nobody has seen it yet. You know
Yeah,
what
I
I mean?
know. But then I find it fascinating because he sees this. You hear the scream, and then Ned Stark is making his way up the mountain, and then the three-eyed raven immediately says, like, "That's enough for the day." And he's looking kind of concerned. Why is he? Why is he pulling out now?
Yeah. So
Like, why now? Why did he show him this bit but not the rest? Like, what is his motive?
because I feel like every time he pulls him out, it's because Bran's really paying attention to detail, and this is like my fan theory of this episode, is that I don't know if he's going back to this specific time, like it was set in stone, because I think that these are fabrications of memories. Yeah, he knows the story. He was a Targaryen. He knows it, but I don't know if these are true memories. They might be pretty close to the truth.
They're not memories. They're historical.
I don't know though. I have a real feeling that there's something shady about what he's showing him. Because every time he pulls out, it's almost like Bran's paying a little bit too much attention, and he was like, "Oh shit, man! Like I don't know everything about this to hold this together," and that's
Yeah.
why Ned turned around when he screamed, because Raven lost his momentary lapse of focus and trying to conjure this memory.
Yeah. See, I think he's hiding information. I feel like he's showing him the right information. That's the actual Tower of Joy, but he's trying to hide things from Bran,
Exactly, and
either to protect him or to hide a hidden motive.
and maybe he is a little biased because he's a Targaryen, and it showed that maybe Ned did take this guy down, but this guy doesn't think that he did. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
who
Like
knows?
there's
Yeah.
some weird shit going on. I don't know about the Raven's intentions at all, and every time we see him now, it seems a lot more shady. Like, oh, I was waiting for you, and this and that. Like, it just seems really weird, almost like, I don't know, like this weird spider trap that Bran's now in. But it's
But it
like,
also seems like he wants the best for him. Like it's a weird, it's a
yeah,
weird thing that's
it's
going on.
weird. It's weird. No, I see that side too. Like, why would he call him there and like show him this, only to then like trap him there? It's weird.
Yeah.
It's just
No, but it
weird
seems
about
so much
how
like
he's going.
I'm not saying that. Like I feel like he does care for Bran and he wants the best for Bran. However, I feel like there's something that he wants or something that he has a hidden motive. But anyways, and this kind of shows a hidden motive, I would say, when Bran is in, like, he's really into it. And that's another reason why he keeps pulling him out, is that maybe he gets too sucked up in the world.
Hmm.
And Bran is, like, chasing after his dad, and he yells, like, "Father." And then you see Ned kind of stall, and then kind of look behind him, as if he heard Bran.
Hmm.
I think this is, like, really important.
Oh, huge. It's a huge point.
Yeah, and then, but it's funny when you look at the three-eyed raven, is that he looks like totally distraught. Like if you look at his face, he's like, "Holy shit,
Yeah.
this is not good." And immediately after that happens, he pulls Bran out, almost like he doesn't want him to learn more information.
Exactly. It's like these are like selective places he's taking him to. getting really close to the sun, but not so close that he would fall into it.
Yeah. So is it like
really, really crazy? Like there's,
so that's what it
there's
means.
something here something dark.
Is Bran like a one of a kind, or is that just an ability that the three-eyed raven doesn't want him to know yet?
Like it doesn't
Kind of tempering with the past.
It doesn't feel like he's trying to discipline him. It feels like he's trying to hide stuff from him. And you get what I mean? Like it's not like he's like, okay, you can't do that because you're not ready for it. He's like, no, we must move on. Like it's almost like he's trying to sweep it under the rug. But why is he bringing him there in the first place? What out of that he saw did he learn from? It seems like obviously because we know and don't know what happens next in that scene, that he should have seen that scene that we didn't see. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know. It seems weird how he would just start it there then. What significance did that fight have for his teaching? It just seems weird and shady. It's just something there. But maybe it's some weird way of teaching him, but it just seems weird. And they're really highlighting it.
And it's almost like Bran, like after learning this ability, like it's almost like he can play God. Like it's like that kind of showed communication between Ned and like almost like a spirit.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I just picture like every time, like in the first season when Ned is kind of sharpening his sword in front of the weirwood, like every time he's praying to the gods, like every time when he asks for something and he feel like he got an answer by a gust of wind or by some kind of sign or maybe a ripple in the water.
Yeah.
That it's actually Bran.
So you think like some crazy circle jerk like scene will be like Bran was the one that resurrected Jon somehow?
No, I just think that like I feel like they can't affect the past, but I feel like they can. It's like playing God. Like if you pray for something and you're like, give me a sign, Bran will give you a sign. Like it's like he's just able to kind of manipulate little artifacts in the past. I don't know. There's a lot to it.
But is it like back to the whole magic thing? It's like magic only shows its face to the living. It seems like when you're dead from this world, you're dead and gone. So maybe there is something to it. Like you can prevent something from whatever place they're occupying. I still don't know if it's memories they're going into or time and space. They go back to, are they literally walking where that scene happened or that moment happened?
Well,
Or
also
is it a memory?
it's like when they go back in the weirwood, like the reason they see the history in the past is because I feel like the weirwoods are like a network, so you can kind of see through them. But in these episodes we haven't been. We're just seeing random points of history.
Yeah, like it's not like there was they didn't specifically show like there's a weirwood in the background watching what's going on.
Yeah, I know.
It's just like they're going to wherever. They're in the center of Winterfell in the first one that they do. So
yeah.
actually, there's a weirwood there though. We know that in the Godswood. So I don't know. Like there's so much, man. There's so much with this.
So
stuff.
it'll just be interesting to see what happens because in Bran's position, he's seeing the past, but he has no idea what's happening in the present and the future.
100%.
He doesn't know what's happened to Jon right now.
No,
He thinks
exactly.
Jon's still Lord Commander. But that's another thing is that, maybe the Bloodraven, like he has the best intentions, but it's kind of like Bran's not ready to learn about this yet. Bran can't know yet because Jon has just been revived. Jon needs to do this first.
Mm-hmm.
Jon needs to do this first, and then it is time to give Bran the information because then Bran is going to take it upon himself to make a difference, and I can't let him know that information yet, because if he knows it, he's going to do something, and now is not the time for Bran to step out of the tree.
Yeah, but what if he has a dark agreement with the White Walkers?
No, he may. That he actually, you know what? It wouldn't surprise me if he did. It's just I'm trying to figure out how Bran.
Because doesn't Buddy
will
seem
figure out about Jon.
trapped? Like he seems trapped. He can't get up and walk away from this scene. That's why he spends all his time.
Yeah, the trees are growing around him, and then that's another thing. He's probably communicating with the White Walkers. Like we see Bran kind of flash to them, and I feel like that might be a little piece of the puzzle where Bran realizes, oh shit.
Like they're closing in on our location because asshole teacher is calling him here to get me.
No, not get him. I'd get his friends in Westeros, in the lore of Westeros. Like there's like unbelievably like so much.
It's like a layer cake with this. That's what's so awesome about it because it like the magic in the world is anything goes in that sense, but it's subtle. So
Yeah, and that's another thing too. He might find out about the Blood Raven's intentions from the White Walkers themselves when you see that scene where he flashes and all of a sudden they're behind him,
yeah,
and he may have a conversation and then he'll take it upon himself to leave, and that's like his destiny.
like he picks up on the phone on creepy grandpa talking to the White Walkers kind of thing.
I don't know, but I feel like the reason he's gonna find out about Jon's parentage is I think he may have to take it upon himself.
Yeah, like he's gonna get arrogant and cocky and say like, "Oh, when the old man's sleeping, I'm gonna slip in to the time-space continuum to see what really happened there."
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see what happens, but then what do you think that means for when do you think we're gonna see the finish of this Tower of Joy scene?
I don't know, a couple more episodes away from now, because he doesn't want him seeing that for a reason, but he doesn't make it clear as to why he doesn't want to see that, like want him to see it. So I don't know if he thinks he's ready. But after what he showed, his power of being able to manipulate within the memory or whatever they are, or wherever they are, I don't know.
Well, here's the thing.
It's tricky, man. There's too much to that. There's almost too much to that scene.
I think it's going to be episode 5. Here are my reasons. So the episode is called The Door.
Yeah.
And here's the synopsis. It's kind of on the nose. Tyrion seeks a strange ally. Bran learns a great deal.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the most important thing. So I think in my mind is what kind of happens behind closed doors in the Tower of Joy.
Yeah, maybe there's
it's the door.
Different
it's the
section of the Weirwood that we don't know yet.
It's in the castle. It's the door that blocks the truth of Azor Ahai.
Yeah.
And Bran is going to go into that door and then walk out with the truth. And I think the door, episode 5, is where all that is going to kind of come to fruition.
Yeah, we can only hope.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's go down to Daenerys. So I don't know, like nothing really special happened with her. Like to be honest, like her story is never really.
Can I just get mine out of the way?
Yeah.
Boring. Really, man, I can't stand her this season. She's supposed to be a queen, now she's in damsel in distress mode, and it's just like, come on.
I just feel like it's a slow cycle, but I realize that
I know she needs to be out of the way for Tyrion to be badass, but it's just like
No, but I realize this is also a step that she has to take for a prophecy. In order for her to go north, she has to go south. In order for her to go forward, she has to go backwards.
I just like, come on.
Yeah, so it's like no, but I think this is this is a step for her. It's kind of humbling, where she's kind of brought back to her roots, and she has to kind of figure out how to get out of it with her new.
No, it's just like a oversight. Like, oh yeah, shit, I had to come here if he died. God damn it! Like it just seems so. Whatever.
Yeah, I think the whole point of this. People love Daenerys. I think the whole point of it was just to humble her. Really, like. She always goes out to say I'm the breaker of chains, I'm the queen of fucking everything. Like she goes out of her way to always promote her title. And this is kind of a humbling experience because she goes into the room with all the Dothraki widows and she says,
with Alice Cooper.
Yeah, and she says, hey, like my Cal, my husband said that we were gonna conquer the world and I would be by his side. Now I'm here. Your Cal said that you would conquer the world, and your baby would be the stallion that mounts the world, and now you're here.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of a humbling thing, and then the idea that the Dothraki the Khalasars are gonna come back, and they're gonna be judge to what actually happens to Daenerys, what the fate is of Daenerys, because she was supposed to go right back to the Dothraki after the Khal died.
Yeah.
She should never have left, and then so the idea is that she has to answer for her crimes. Best case scenario, she gets put back in that room with the widows.
Do you think they do trials by combat? Seems like the culture that would.
I don't think so.
I don't know, man. They fight constantly.
I don't think there's a trial. I think there's a killing. I think that's it. But like, what do you think? Do you think it would change? I feel like there wouldn't be. If anything, she would end up back in that room. I feel like they wouldn't kill her because. Like, look at her. She's like one of a kind. Everyone looks at her and is like amazed by her because she looks so foreign.
Yeah.
She's like an exotic beauty.
But they don't see it like that. It's almost like it's just like she's part of the harem and she just happens to look different. But that's why they're all kind of like laughing at her like, huh, you thought you were like something crazy, but really you're just number 9 on the list of Khal wives.
Yeah, so looking at all that, what do you think would be like her fate. How is she going to deal with the Dothraki? Like, what situation is she going to be put in? Like, what? How does she deal with this?
Well, I think she gets saved. That's why I'm so like bored with the story. Like, it's almost, we know Jorah's coming. We know I don't even know the other dude's name. His name escapes me right now.
Daario Naharis.
Yeah, so like they're coming. So, and Jorah's got the timer on his head, so he's gonna do something heroic and get her out of there.
See, I think it's different. I don't think she's going to be rescued. I think it's time for her to save herself.
Let's hope. That would be cool. I hope for a turnaround like that.
No, and I think it's going to be soon. I think in the next 2 episodes we're going to be seeing Drogon, and I think it's going to be similar to season 5, episode 9, where she, closes her eyes, and it seems like she has a connection with her dragon. And she'll kind of focus and be like, "It worked. It worked when I was in the fighting pit. Like, let's just hope it works now." And she's kind of like ground zero. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, here comes Drogon.
Well, maybe she has to be in danger.
Yeah, and I feel like
life-threatening danger.
And I feel like the purpose of Jorah and Daario is to kind of pick her up after the rescuing, Yeah,
but we see some shit, and later on we'll get into it for the next one, that like he's fighting someone, and it almost looks like Daario. Like they almost look like they get into a little bit of a skirmish.
Yeah, maybe. I didn't even pick up on that. Yeah, that could be something. Yeah, that's really interesting. Anything else you need to add to that? Want to add to that?
No, I'm so over that story.
All right, so we move on to Varys, and Varys is talking to a girl that we're familiar with from season 5. She was the woman who would sleep and prostitute with the Unsullied.
I don't know if you call it that, because they
well, just to make them feel comfortable. Just to, I don't know, just whatever. That's what she did.
Cuddle and cut throats.
Yeah, and she would kind of betray the Unsullied. So then Varys, I guess, got wind of this, and we see him talking to her. Really just about how he likes to make people happy, and how it just shows like Varys and how much of a badass he is. Like he knows everything.
He does know everything.
It's like, oh, your son's name is Dolph. Does he have trouble breathing? Like he just knows everything. And then she's like, you threatened me. He's like, I'm not threatening you. I just want you to be happy. I'll give you this money to go on a boat and like piss off if you give me this information.
Yeah.
And so I don't kill you, which would mean your boy all alone with a breathing condition. Not so fun.
No. He's dope, man. And those are the kind of people that would run kingdoms behind the scenes in real life. Just people that knew all the shit.
Yeah, man. People with no cocks. So, do you have any input on this scene?
No, I'm just happy to see Varys like getting some full screen time. Like he's an awesome character that I feel they don't utilize that often.
No, yeah, I really like him and Tyrion together, which is kind of funny because the main conclusion he got from talking to her was that the Harpies are being funded by the Masters in Astapor, Yunkai, and Volantis.
Yeah.
Which, it's to be assumed. Anyway, right?
Yeah, it's like they're all
it's obvious
kind of...
they're being funded by the Masters of these high places that were taken over by Daenerys, but have since been taken back over by the Masters.
Yeah.
But this kills one theory, which I never understood to begin with. People seem to believe that Varys was the Harpy.
That doesn't make sense at all. I don't know how people come
exactly.
conclusion.
It doesn't make any sense. And I don't want to bring everybody into that bubble, but there were people who thought that it's possible Varys is the Harpy. It just goes to show, like the intentions wouldn't make any sense. Why would he put Daenerys in harm's way if he's a supporter of the Targaryens taking over and sitting on the Iron Throne? It just doesn't make any sense.
Get rid of that. If he really wanted the Harpies, or if he was a Harpy, he would just have taken over now. Like, they're at their weakest. Why would he try and still string them along when he could just have them come into the kingdom and take it over?
Yeah, true. So it just doesn't really make any sense in general. The only thing that would be, like, since he's the master of whispers, it would just be like, oh, it makes sense for him to, whisper to the Harpies. Like, I don't know.
No, not in this case.
Anyway, so he goes and tells this to Tyrion, Grey Worm, and Missandei. But before that, we see Tyrion, kind of funny Tyrion, talking to Missandei and Grey Worm and how they talk about patrol. We talk about what I found on patrol.
Yeah.
We talk about patrol. Like, it's just boring. They don't know how to have fun. But, you can't blame them. They've been slaves their whole life.
Yeah, exactly. They're just servants. So that they're not used to being a part of the conversation, especially and to someone like Tyrion, who's like just out of nowhere, like exact opposite of anything that they've ever been used to.
But see, that's what this tells me about, because it just shows how out of touch Tyrion is with his landscape.
Yeah.
Like, it shows that Tyrion, he can't relate to these people.
No, not even at all.
No matter how hard he tries. And then, we've seen in King's Landing his manipulative side and how he's really good at, bending people's wills into his favor just by using his words and strategy. And I don't know how effective he would be here, because it's a totally different ballgame.
Well, at least with these two, though. Like I said, like he's talking to them like they're equals. They're not used to that.
Yeah.
Right? And he's just trying to get something out of it, but they're not
weighing over his head.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. He's just. It totally looked like it was kind of a funny situation, because it's not just culture. It's like class. He's never talked to like soldiers like he talks to royalty. He's only ever used to talking to kings and noblemen. Now he's talking to servants that are filling the void of noblemen in the absence of the real ones.
Yeah, Varys points that out in episode 1. He's like, you walk like a rich person.
Yeah.
Which just kind of shows, that stuff. But then he just tries to come up with a game with Shay, where they tell each other about themselves, and hey, they can't drink, so that ends quickly. And then Varys just comes and tells them about this information about Masters of Astapor, Yunkai, and Volantis are funding the Harpies. So that just raises a question: who do you think the Harpy is?
Like, I think it's just some unforeseen person or entity that we haven't come across yet.
It could be somebody that we were introduced to. Remember in season 3, Dany takes over, I forget what city it is, but she meets one of the masters, and she intimidates him just by her small dragons. She like feeds them meat, and they like fly around.
Mm-hmm.
And she takes his gold. So like it could be somebody like that.
Like she just punked him, and then he just went away. She didn't kill him, kind of thing.
Yeah, and then also I want to talk about Daario. People think that Daario is the Harpy.
That's stupid too. What would be the reasoning behind this? Unless he's just out to kill her right now.
Well, he started off as a slave fighter, and maybe he wants to build himself up in Essos. But that being said, they've done too much over the show with him and Dany. They built kind of a relationship. And if there was a chance where he would betray, he already would have. And it totally breaks the theory in episode 9, Dance with Dragons, when the Harpies come in to kill all of them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They kill, what's his face? Dany's husband.
Unless it's like something like Jorah, but for the Harpies. Maybe he's like a spy for the Harpies, but maybe he's fallen for her too. That's the only logical theory I can see that of him being associated with the Harpies. Is he's working for them, but not all in. But I don't think that. I think it's stupid.
Like, he was attacked by the Harpies, so it's like, I don't know. But to be fair, they were attacking everybody. But I don't know. Let's go down to King's Landing. So this is going to be really quick. Pretty much just a scene with Qyburn, Cersei, and Jaime. Qyburn is pretty much giving little children candy, which were Varys's whispers.
Little birds, yeah.
Little birds. So he's kind of taking that role, and they're like, oh, Varys is so nice, he gives us candy, and blah, blah, blah. So he's like, okay, here you go. And come back with even more whispers.
Yeah. So Qyburn's an interesting character, too.
Well, when you first meet him, you don't really think of him as a bad dude, Jaime, Robb meets him. You first meet him with Robb.
Yeah, he's
in Harrenhal.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like that bad of a guy. He's obviously... He doesn't abide by the rules of Old Town, right?
Place. Well, he was kicked out because he experimented in bad ways on living bodies.
But now he seems to be in the place where he needs to be for this to work out for him. So I don't know. We'll see with him, but I think he's an interesting character. That like there's so many characters now that they can't really go deep, but I feel like they could a little with him. They could do a little bit more with him. Like what is his motivations to be like that? Doesn't seem like it's money. No, it seems like he just wants he's like a kind of strange mad scientist.
Well, it's almost like he's just enjoying his situation.
Yeah, he doesn't seem inherently evil though either, just because he created a monster.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, now I'm here working with the Lannisters.
Mhm.
But that being said, like I think there were two main points in the scene. First of all, is Jamie was talking to Gregor, Clegane, obviously the big fucker who has purple eyes, and he's like, how much does he understand? And they're like, oh, he understands like sentences and understands people.
Mhm.
So how far is his ability? So why is he being a slave to them?
Yeah, he did some crazy voodoo magic. Definitely, there's definitely some dark magic there.
Yeah, and then on top of that, we have Cersei is back.
Oh, total Cersei.
Like she's like, okay, if anybody whispers about me or says anything about us negatively, I want to hear it.
Well,
And insinuating that she wants them dead.
I
And
felt-
you already saw that in episode 2.
That's what I mean. I almost felt like they got this the editor dropped the ball on this or something, because I feel like this scene would have been better. That scene where he smashes that guy's skull would have been better served after she said this statement. You know what I mean? Because I feel like that was so out of nowhere now, looking back at it, because she was still in like the emotional, everything's falling around me kind of Cersei.
No, I still think she would have, she would still be very like defensive, I would say.
But she didn't show that at all. That's what took me off in this one. That seems so weird that she said that after we saw what it had already happened to someone that was whispering about it.
I see how that works. I don't think that she has to announce it for it to happen.
Yeah, that's what I mean. There's more than meets the eye. I don't think I don't think he's just loyal to her. I think he's loyal to Qyburn, and maybe Qyburn's pulling the strings.
Who knows? Who knows? But then they go over to King's Council. Nobody wants them. There's Lydia Olenna, Maester Pycelle, Mace Tyrell, and Kevan Lannister. And Pycelle's like talking shit about the mountain. And then he literally shits his pants
Yeah.
as he sees the mountain behind him. Did you like that fartness, or does that fit Game of Thrones?
I don't think I even picked up on it. I've seen it now all over like YouTube and all that stuff. Like social media is just talking about how he farted. I didn't really pick up on it.
It was a squeaker.
Yeah, like I don't know, because we saw that scene with Pycelle where he's not who he seems, right?
Yeah.
Like I think he's with a girl. She leaves and he's like walking around normally, not like a desolate old man. He's just like, he's older, but he's still functional. So it just seems
it's like a
weird.
front he puts on, yeah.
So it's weird that he did that, because it's almost like true to form for his character to do that, but just to squeak out a shit fart, like it just seems weird.
No, I don't think he's gonna last long, and it's really funny how Cersei says, like, if anyone talks shit about us, I want to hear it. And then Pycelle's there like, oh, this is an abomination.
Yeah.
And he's like talking shit, but I found that pretty funny. But then all of them leave because they don't even want Cersei to be a part of the small council.
Mm-hmm.
And Jaime's obviously always by Cersei's side, but Jaime has a place in the small council.
Yeah, but Cersei is like, she did everything that's wrong. That's all her fault. So I get why those guys would be mad.
No, I know she's very.
She's to blame for everything here.
But then does Jaime kind of take the mantle and just go to these kings? Holy I just pooped my brain. What's the King's Council?
I guess he has to.
But then it's like we also see in the trailers that Cersei says, going for the Lannister army is where you belong. So when does that happen? Because pretty much Jaime just does whatever Cersei says.
I don't know. The Tyrell guy just seems like a nobody.
Yeah, he's kind of a loser.
Right? The Lannister is the only one that has something there. And Olenna is like she seems like she just wants her grandkids to get out of this place, because she knows. She's wise, she's clever, and she knows what's coming. She just wants to pull out. She wants to get her kids and get the fuck out of there, because she doesn't want to be a part of this anymore.
No, and they want to... And there's there's the rumors are going around more than ever, which Lady Olenna states. So it's like, her daughter is married to Tommen, but he could very well not be the true heir, or the true king.
Yeah, I think she knows
pure
that.
Lannister. Yeah, and then... what was I going to say? Shit. Oh yeah, on top of that, it's like... Lady Olenna just wants to bust them out. And then Cersei, like, we know her motivations. We saw this in the episode 4 Tease. Cersei wants Marjorie to confess.
Yeah.
Because she feels like that would be the easiest way to get her out. But in her own twisted way, she kind of wants her to go through that.
Yeah, of course.
And we see Marjorie kind of confess in the next episode. And we see her see Loras.
But it seems almost like she gets a free pass. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, we haven't seen the episode, but in that little thing, it's almost like she does confess, or she does show some sort of, like, sorriness to Sparrow, and that she gets rewarded maybe by getting to see her brother.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm just trying to figure out why Jaime is rallying his bannermen, or like why is he getting the armies? Is it because of
To get rid of the
is that why? Because that
yeah.
seems a bit excessive.
Faith Militant. No, man, they have now, like, it was a show of power when they infiltrated the Sept, unheard by one of the best soldiers in King's Landing. Like, it was like a show without saying it. Like, these guys are everywhere. They can do anything they want to now. They've infiltrated every level of the kingdom, basically.
Right.
They're powerful now. And it was almost overstated in the last one how powerful they are, especially because it showed Tommen, like, literally kind of bending to his will.
True.
So
true.
that, like, it's just, the Sparrow is bad news for the Lannisters. No, like, every way about it, basically. They know about the incest. They know about the power balance right now, and it's like, it's gotta go.
Yeah, exactly. And then just like the last question is, can Jaime leave Kingsguard? Because right now he's in the Kingsguard position, and for him to rally his bannerman, he has to leave Kingsguard position. So I think it's pretty. Like, I think it would just be, you know, obviously Cersei and Jaime have total control, pretty much, because their son is king, and their son is not much of a leader. So
Yeah, he's dead. He's dead, and I think this is gonna just. I don't think there's gonna be an heir to the throne after he dies.
I feel like you're going to see Tommen take Jaime off from Kingsguard so he can go rally the bannermen, and then he may even make Gregor Kingsguard.
I don't know, man. I don't picture Tommen lasting very much longer. I don't see what the need for him is. The shit is hitting the fan there. There's gonna be a civil war inside King's Landing.
I think you're going to see Tommen make like a. I don't know. You're gonna see him like deal with like conflict, and like you're gonna see him kind of have to decide between the faith and his family, because you see him talking to the High Sparrow when he goes in, and like the High Sparrow just totally takes control of the conversation.
Oh, 100%. Like,
and like it was really funny too, because he went in like, "I'm the king," like let me see my wife, like all this shit.
Yeah.
And he's. The High Sparrow's pretty much like, "Hey, can I sit down?" And then he made a couple points, and then he's like, Thomas pretty much like, yeah, fair enough. That's pretty fair. Good points. Okay. Like, you know, you can't blame him. Like, he is a very convincing guy.
Oh, totally.
For that time period, because you got to think about it this way: Tommen believes in the 7 gods, and you know, this pure man who only follows the seven text, the holy text. I can see it as very like negotiating, because hey, Cersei's the one who's corrupt in this situation, not the High Sparrow. All the High Sparrow doing is preaching the religion that they've been following for years.
He just has an answer for everything, and he's also answered for everything. So he doesn't. There's nothing you can take from him. That's what makes him such a powerful character.
Yeah, and he's such a nice guy. He's like, "Oh, you have such a loving mother." He's like, "Envy, one of those sins I have to answer for." He's like, Oh, buddy. And then, yeah, so it's really funny to see Tommen kind of. He literally, every time he tries to make a difference for his family, he gets roped into this High Sparrow stuff.
Oh yeah, that's why I don't picture him lasting. There's no reason for him anymore.
Well, you got like Lance Lannister's as a Sparrow. Why not Tommen?
I like it, but then there's just adding layer and layer, and I feel like that dude gets his head ripped off, as we've seen on trailers. Looks like he gets his head ripped off.
What do you mean that dude? There's more than one Sparrow.
No, one of the monks gets his head ripped off, and it looked like that Lannister kid.
I don't know. Anyway, who knows where the hell that'll go? We'll just know that like they rescue.
So much for going quick over the King's Council.
I know, eh? Holy shit. But here's another epic part that happened. So Arya.
Yeah.
Arya Stark.
This was awesome. So like Arya is like one of my favorite characters.
Huge.
But this was kind of funny because it's like time was passing and it was like a huge montage.
Total 80s action movie training montage. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was cool. So you see her like training while blind, and then I found this interesting how she's talking about, you know, her family. She's like, I have like a girl has 4 brothers, and then she whips her. She says, I have 3 brothers and a half brother. So it's like, how much do these people know of her?
Well, apparently a lot now. She kind of spilt the beans.
Yeah, but like the fact that like they whipped her because she didn't say she had 3.5 brothers.
Well, they know she knows everything. They
Like,
know.
so
I think they know everything about it, and that they're getting a lot of intel on her. I don't know. I don't want to go down the road of like a theory, like they could use her for stuff, for more power, because I don't think it's more of like just a neutral cult, kind of like the Faith Militant, but they're only in it for killing.
Yeah,
Meaning,
and she
like,
refers.
It's hard to say with them. I just don't think their intentions are dark, even though they kill people for religious practices. I think it's just they're neutral. They don't kill. They don't care who they kill. They could kill kings. They could kill peasants as long as someone pays them.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, you start to see her refer to herself as a girl.
Yeah.
But you know, like, who knows if she's doing this just to kind of like it's her only option. Like, well, I'm blind, and I am, you know, working for the faceless men. Like, I am going to, you know, really manipulate. Or this is her becoming more of a faceless person.
Maybe like he's setting her up to be Arya Stark for a mission.
You know what? That's really good too.
Because
But,
he's like, you got to get it right. We've sort of confused you with all the other stuff. I need you to be Arya Stark. I need you to be on point because probably nobody knows what you look like anymore. I need you to be Arya Stark.
yeah, that would really work too. Because I feel like she's gonna get a big name on her list in Westeros by the end of this.
I think Olenna's going to call the hit. I was thinking about that earlier today.
You think Lady Olenna's gonna call a hit?
Yeah, she's the only one I feel like that's cunning enough to use this. Like, she doesn't have armies at her disposal. She has wisdom.
And it could be Tommen, because the reason why is Tommen has false blood.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have a proper heir to the throne, and Marjorie's stuck in that marriage.
I just feel like she's the perfect person to call it in.
That's really true. And then we continue to see her, you know, sharpening her senses with smell.
Yeah, with the poisons and stuff like that.
Yeah, and that kind of stuff. And what I found interesting is she said she has 3 brothers, which is Robb, Bran, and Rickon. And it really reflects how they died, or how they have hurt, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we see she gets jabbed in the chest, like, reflecting Robb. She falls off the side of her, like, pedestal, kind of like the Hound. She gets hit in the head and thrown off the side.
Yeah.
She gets hit in the back, like Bran. Because that's, like, showing Bran's, like, paralyzed body.
Yeah.
So I just found the imagery kind of interesting. And then she got, like, swept. And then she got swept from under. Like, a stick came and swept her legs out from under her.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you could say that's kind of what happened to Rickon, right? Like, he's chilling out in the Umbers, and then he thinks that they're best buds, and all of a sudden, he gets swept from under.
Yeah, he gets a carpet
And
pulled out from under him.
Yeah, and he gets betrayed. Right? So I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah.
3 brothers. Robb, Bran, Rickon.
And then you just see, you know, character moments where she said, you know, the Hound was on her list, and then he was not, and then, you know, the girl was confused. Which just shows, like, she built a relationship with the Hound.
Yeah. I miss the Hound, man. He was a good character.
Yeah, I know. That's what's so crazy about it.
That's
I
one
miss him
crazy
so much.
fan theory that I'm hoping is true.
No, I think he's coming back. But, that being said, people are like, Clegane Bowl. I think that's just fan fiction.
No.
I think that is, like, the deepest fan fiction ever.
Yeah.
I think the Hound is going to be a part of it, but I think Clegane Bowl is impossible.
Because in a way, the Mountain's gone anyways. He's a Frankenstein monster. You know what I mean? Like, he's not the Mountain anymore. Do you think we'll see his face?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I hope so.
I think it'll be a reveal, maybe episode 5, episode 6.
Yeah, when he's got to fight for Cersei. It's got to, like, I don't know. I just feel like he's gone. He's just a monster now. So, like, to have the Hound come back and fight him, it just doesn't make sense.
I don't think he will. But then we get her list. So she has a pretty short list. She's got Cersei, Gregor Clegane, have fun with that, and Walder Frey.
Yeah.
So we've seen Walder Frey in the trailers, and he's with the Lannisters.
Yeah.
They went over, and he's there, kind of having wine with the Lannisters. Very reminiscent of the Red Wedding.
Yeah.
In the same room.
I think there'll be a serious revenge. But I don't know. Like, I was really thinking that Roose Bolton was going to get really badly killed for what he did. And he only got stabbed in the stomach.
I still think he got a bad betrayal, though. Like, his son.
I know. But everyone saw it coming. Like, I was thinking, like, at least burned, at least something. Something bad.
Well, maybe you'll see him on one of the burning banners or whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
But, yeah, so, I don't know. Like, who do you think will be her target? Because she then says, she says, is that it on your list? Like, Wave says to Arya, and then Arya says, what other names do you want me to speak? So it's kind of inviting her to give her a new target.
Yeah. It could be the Sand Snakes hire her to kill Cersei. You never know, but I just felt Olenna is like, I don't know, it's like a good fit she just wants out, and she wants out of everything. Not just her kids out. She wants her kids out of King's Landing. She doesn't want to be a part of this matriarch anymore. She wants them out because she knows how fucked up it is.
Yeah, and the way... Who, Cersei?
No, Olenna. She wants her...
Yeah.
Is it her grandkids or daughter and son?
Grandkids.
Yeah, she wants
They're
them...
Mace's kids.
Yeah, that's right. She wants them out of there. And even Mace isn't speaking up about this because he thinks like my daughter's married to the king. Like, no. She knows way better and way more than
That's why she would
everybody. That's why she's like the clever old fox. Like, she knows everything. She's like M from James Bond.
Well, everything that I think, like, I know Arya has to go and be with Jon. I know they're going to reunite. Like, I'm like 100% on this. Because she has to reunite with Melisandre. And she is a faceless person when she does so.
Mm-hmm. But who knows?
So,
Melisandre might get kind of banished.
And then who knows? Maybe someone in King's Landing like Cersei may put a hit on Jon. Because who the hell is this guy who is apparently risen from the dead and comes to take over Winterfell?
Yeah.
But then that being said, that would have to be later in next season because the Battle of the Bastards between Jon and Ramsay is probably episode 9.
Yeah, it seems like it's going to weigh in at that time too. Like, it just seems too convenient. Way too convenient. But
yeah,
I don't know. Like, it seems so strange. Like, we didn't get much of Tyrion's side at all. Like, that story, there wasn't not that much this time. It was just that little bit of information and Varys' badass scene. So there's a lot more leaning towards Jon's side now.
Well, it's because Tyrion right now is useless. Like, he literally can't do anything. Like, the whole thing is on Varys, and Tyrion has to just sit there until he's useful.
Yeah.
But and Arya's just getting these little story arcs, like very little chunks every episode.
Yeah, but I was still surprised that she got her vision back. I thought it would still be more training.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying. It happens so quick. Like, she finally, while she's blind, she blocks a shot.
Yeah. And
she hits the waif, and she hits her, and she looks like so like jealous, and like upset, and like pissed off, and then Jaqen's like smiling in the background.
Was he smiling? Did you watch it again?
I don't remember. I have to check it again.
In my mind, he has like a huge like whoa grin on his face.
Yeah, like a derp smile.
But I don't know for sure.
Yeah, but then let's talk about this water. So he's like, a girl is thirsty. Like, if a girl is truly no one, like, whatever. So she passes the test, and he lets her have a drink of this water. My immediate thought, I was actually so scared, because I thought it would knock her unconscious, they would take off her face, and then therefore she would be a faceless person.
No.
I thought that's what was going to happen. So the fact that she was cured boggles my mind. So is this science? Is this magic? Like, what is this?
No, they're hitmen. They know all the poisons. That's the shit she was fucking with the little vials. She was trying to smell like the difference between poisons. So
yeah.
He knows how to poison that water in such a way that it maybe makes someone unconscious, it maybe kills someone, it maybe fixes blindness. And he was the one that poisoned her from the beginning. That wasn't magic. He probably just gave her some crazy psychedelic drug.
Okay, that's explainable. I thought it was just a pool of death.
No, I
Like,
think
it
the
just
pool
kills
can
your
be.
victims.
It's like awkward potion from Minecraft.
Cool, good reference. Glad you fit that in. Is there anything else on Arya? Do you have any other thoughts on Arya?
No, I thought exactly from the last time this was going to be it. I just was really surprised that she ended up getting her sight back and sort of fully welcomed back. I thought she would still need to prove herself for at least an episode more or two.
Yeah, exactly. Let's go over to Ramsay.
Fuck this guy.
So this shocked me because I thought the Umbers were very loyal to the Starks, and they were. Lord Umber was. That's why Bran sent Rickon and Osha to them. But all of a sudden, we have young Lord Umber, and his dad died randomly. He just mentioned it. Yeah, my dad's dead, so now I'm the Lord of the Umbers, right?
Umber's the guy that got his head cut off for being a dick to
No.
the Lannisters, no?
That's Karstark.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Umber was the guy who Robb sent his dog on, Greywind, and he bit off his fingers.
I don't get it. I don't get the betrayal, but it could be at the same time like, hey, the Starks have literally been decimated. We're gonna trust us. We're gonna trust our lives to some kid who's.
No, his betrayal made sense to me because you have this guy Ramsay who's now in charge of Winterfell, which is where everything starts and stops. Like they have the biggest army, they have the most resources, and here he is sitting. He's closer to the wall than they are.
Yeah.
And he's the first place that's attacked when the wildlings come south. And he said he knows that Jon is alive, and they know that he has a soft spot for the wildlings. And his worry is that if he rallies the wildlings together, they'll be unstoppable.
Yeah.
So his whole idea is to get there to get men to defend his place.
Well, it just threw out my theory because I was thinking that maybe this is like a backwards way of. Kind of like how Littlefinger put Sansa with Ramsay, like a way of getting in the door, but showing some trust by giving him a Stark. But at the same time, Umber's working on his backstabbing measure towards Ramsay.
So you think the Umbers
it seems now?
there?
No, it seems like what you said about the wildlings. It just seems like fuck. We need to protect our lands against the wildlings.
Yeah, because to me it seems like some people are holding on to hope that it's kind of like they're pulling a betrayal.
No, they have no qualms about killing kids in the show after seeing Ollie get hung.
No, it's total bullshit. Like, if you want to betray the Boltons, you don't put the heir to Winterfell, the true heir to Winterfell, as Stark, in his hands.
Yeah.
Like, you don't do that.
You could.
That's
You would
really
bullshit
stupid.
it.
Yeah, like
You would
it's
bullshit
so
it. You would
stupid.
cut off a fake wolf and like you would bullshit it if you're gonna do that.
Yeah, so they're all in. They want to get the Boltons' approval because right now they're the ones who rule Winterfell.
Yeah.
And to get the resources they need to buckle down and be friends with Winterfell. And I found it really interesting how he said that they don't kneel. So it's really funny how they're kind of coming back to more of the wildling side.
No, it makes sense because like everyone knows Ramsay and Roose are dicks. Like they're the ones that took over.
Yeah, but it's like it's almost like a modern culture. Like it's like the modern culture in Westeros is like we don't kneel, and it's like I find it funny because that's literally the only difference between the wildlings and the people of Westeros.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then Rickon and Osha show up, so like they're fucked.
Yeah, it's bad. It's gonna be bad for them.
Like it just depends when. Like I'm actually nervous because I really like Osha, and she's just gonna be a toy for Ramsay.
Unless she's pretty badass though too.
I don't know, man. I think, and then like Rickon's
not
who
making.
knows?
I don't
Because
think he's making this out.
I literally no, he's dead for sure. I just don't know when because
I think he's just gonna. You've never seen Walking Dead,
no.
but they just kill the old man right in front of everybody. And that's what I picture.
No, because to me it's like, is Ramsay going to be his usual self, or is he actually going to smarten up and do something smart? Because Ramsay, like the usual Ramsay, he'd be like, oh, okay, he'd have some fun with him, torture him like Theon, and then kill him. Or is he going to use him as a chess piece?
100% chess piece. I don't think
But
he thinks he has
that's not
time
what
to try
Ramsay-
and bend him to his will.
That's
And
not
I don't think
how we do
Rickon
that.
is competent enough to do anything for himself because it hasn't showed any sort of training. Like, you know, when Bran was sitting on the thing and like getting like his Maester was getting him to kind of help people. There's
Yeah.
been no, what do you call it? Like preparation for leadership at all. He's
No, but
just
it's like
been on the run literally since he's been a little kid.
Ramsay wants him dead no matter what. To me, it's just either if he's smart enough to use him as a chess piece, which he hasn't proved that he is. So if he actually takes, I see Ramsay also like being like my new position. I need to take it seriously, and him using Rickon as a chess piece to negotiate with Jon.
Yeah, but I don't think it's gonna go over well.
Well, this is what I think is going to happen. I think we'll get into this more in the episode 4 prediction. But I think Ramsay's going to be sending a pink letter, which is from the books, to Jon Snow, saying that I have your brother, the heir to Winterfell.
Yeah, like a ward.
No harm will come to your brother if I get Sansa. I know she's in Castle Black.
Mm-hmm. Or heading to Castle Black.
Yeah, trade for trade, and then that's what gives Jon his purpose. He'll be like, holy shit, this motherfucker lives in my house, he has my brother, and he's asking for my sister.
Yeah, especially now with Jon with no ties.
Yeah, so now he's going to be like, that's it. He's going to go back to Castle Black, unless the wildlings come with him.
100%. I don't think the Night's Watch is coming with him. He needs them there because he knows what's coming. He's going to tell Ed to hold fast and grab all the wildlings.
Well, I think their vows still stand. Like, they can't leave. It's only the wildlings that come.
Yeah, but he could have been the one to say, guys, this is pretty much it. I need a small force here to hold these guys off and see if the wall holds. But again, this is all what we know about them. He doesn't know their capacity or their power.
Yeah, true. Well, we'll see that. But let's go over to the wall, the last part of the episode.
Ollie, no!
What?
Ollie, no!
Oh, you actually scared me, man. Oh my god. I'm like, what? No, so Jon is like chilling by the fire. They call him, and he's like, okay. And then you got Alistair Thorne, you got Ollie, and you got the two other fuckers. I don't know their name, and they're strung up. And I really liked it because he went to literally every single one and heard their last words.
Yeah.
And I like Alistair Thorne, you know, he doesn't want to budge. And he's like, hey, this is how I feel. And you would have got us all killed. It goes against what we believe in. If I would have done it, I would have done it again.
Yeah. No, he was a Night's Watchman. True, through and true. Like, there's no...
Yeah, like you can't say that he's bad. He just has different views. You know, whether you agree with him or disagree with him, he has his own views. And he's been born and raised to hate the wildlings.
Yeah, he's just he's a conservative Night's Watchman.
Exactly, 100%. He's a conservative Night's Watchman.
And he was actually pretty lenient to let Jon and the wildlings through when he could have just fucking rained down arrows on them from above.
Oh, 100%. So coming from his point of view, it is justified.
Yeah.
And then Jon goes to Ollie. He like can't look at him.
No. I really thought Ollie was making it out. I was really optimistic. Like, he was going to be imprisoned or like punished severely, but because he's so young, like I get it now after seeing this scene.
Well, I like
it had to have happened like this.
Jon has shown that he has trouble killing people.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know, especially since he was a kid, Jon would kind of give him the benefit of the doubt. But I like that he did. I like it because Jon was pissed.
No, he was channeling Ned for sure.
Like, he was pissed, and he's like, you did treason by killing me, you're all done.
Yeah.
But then on top of that, like, it is the honorable thing to do, like, you know, like if somebody breaks the law, boom, you pass the sentence, you swing the sword. That's what his dad always said.
Exactly.
But like, I just loved it because Jon was like furious. Like, he's like, you killed me into oblivion. Like, I can't believe you could have ended my life. Like, I'm so lucky to be alive. Like, he was just like so pissed, especially since he's seen the other side now, and now he wants to like really live his life.
Yeah, it's true.
So then he kills all of them, and I really find it really funny because either he was really staring at Ollie or Alistair Thorne. He was just watching them.
Yeah. Like, he didn't want to even say, like, man, I'm condemning you guys to the worst shit possible, too. Like, he was doing to them as they did to him. Like, he sent them to the dark.
Yeah, so then he...
so it was heavy-handed on both sides. Like, him having to do it because he needed to, as well as, shit, I almost feel bad for you guys.
Yeah, exactly. And then, so he gives, Dolores Ed is like, you know, we should burn the bodies. Like, you do it or don't, whatever you want. Here's my cloak.
Yeah, drop the mic.
Is it a cloak?
I guess, yeah.
I don't even know. And then he's, and then he gives him, you know, you have Castle Black now. When watch is ended. Takes off. Mm-hmm. Melisandre are gonna be like, wait for me? Like, is she gonna like tag behind him?
Yeah, Davos and company and everything.
Ghost is coming with him. I don't know if the wildlings are.
Wildlings for sure coming with. They're at least coming, but going back to their lands.
Yeah.
But
yeah, maybe.
I think I don't know about the pink letter. I don't know that much into it, but he's definitely getting a crow. That's or a raven, a crow, whatever. He's getting a carrier bird letter as to what's going on, and that's his motivation to get out of there.
Yeah, exactly. So what the pink letter was pretty much is there's Jane Poole is this girl who Ramsay's actually married to in the books, and they call her Arya Stark.
That's
and
like
he
a
sent
misnomer.
Yeah, and he sent a pink letter to Jon to say like I have your sister, blah blah blah, kind of like egging him on.
Yeah,
and that actually made Jon break his vows and leave, which resulted in them killing him.
Oh, I see.
So that was the difference. So I think what's going to happen now with Jon is now that he's pretty much gone, he's purposeless right now. And then I think you're going to have Sansa come to Castle Black. Jon is getting a letter. I don't know if it's going to be this episode or next episode.
Or it could be Sansa. It's word of what was going on in Winterfell.
I know, but I also think you're going to get a letter from Ramsay saying, like, A, I have your brother. Trade off for your sister. I know you have Sansa there. And then it's gonna be egging him on like crazy, saying, "Come and take Winterfell, son of a bitch." And then so it's gonna egg Jon on and be like, "All right, that's enough." Sansa's gonna rally the Bannermen, and I don't know what Jon's gonna do there. He's gonna gather the wildlings. Who knows what happens there? But that's what eggs him on, and that's what gives him his purpose.
It's crazy to think like it's gonna be like an Avengers movie of characters in one shot at one point. Like I can't even picture like, well, I don't know where the chips are gonna land after all this, but like, imagine seeing all these people together, like Jon with Brienne and Sansa and possibly Arya and possibly like there's so many that could end up being all together. Like imagine even like Daenerys showing up with Tyrion, and they're all with like Jon and all these people like leading the pact. It's like an Avengers movie.
No, it'll be nuts. It'll be crazy. That's what I love about the show is that they focus on different characters and they totally have nothing to do with each other.
That's what I mean. So when it all comes to a point, it's gonna be nuts.
Yeah. So there it is. That's our weekly roundup. Now let's get into episode 4. So I'm gonna drop the mic on this. So I'm gonna let you go through like first and tell me what you think is gonna happen in episode 4.
I don't know. It looks like, from what I saw, like, everyone, you always mention about Theon. I really could care less. I really hope he dies on the way back to his home. I don't want him anymore because I know he's going to get home. His sister's going to belittle him, and he's just going to get belittled by all the dudes that are there because now he's like some dickless, wussy, punk kid. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, and then there's no way he could be a legitimate king there or whatever leader that they would want there unless by somehow everybody dies and he's like, oh, I'm the true heir. Like, I hate his storyline now.
That's exactly what's going to happen next episode.
Exactly.
I guarantee it.
Like, I can't stand it. I can't stand him. I really hope he dies. Like, I'm more interested in his sister now. That like, she has something going for her way more than Theon. Theon was died right after he helped Sansa. That was it.
I like Theon.
Fuck him. A little bit more on Rickon, I'm hoping. You see Brienne and Brienne and company with Sansa in tow finally moving. Finally moving from the position they started this whole season in.
Well, in the featurette, you see them open doors.
Yeah,
people think it's the wall. But I was looking around, but it didn't look like the wall doors.
No, I know. I was thinking the same thing. It seems like it would be too not time calculated. I don't. That's not the right proper phrasing, definitely. But like, there's too much time would have had to pass for them to get to the wall.
Maybe it's House Reed.
Yeah, it could be.
Or House Longmont.
I thought Reed is like on a floating marsh castle though. So that was my first thought, but maybe they're not doing that for the show because it's a little bit difficult. It could just be, right?
Yeah, I don't know. It could be Castle Black, but I don't know if the backs match up. I don't know.
Who knows? But yeah, definitely, I would have to look at the map again. We always talk about that. We should have the fucking map here, because then we could point to it. But I don't think it's the wall yet. I think maybe they're coming somewhere close.
But if it was the wall, it wouldn't surprise me, to be honest, because characters teleport all the time.
Yeah. Well, like it seemed like a lot of time passed for Arya in this last episode,
A ton.
but none passed for Jon. Like it was
No,
like
see-
hours after everything happened.
Yeah, see, that's my justification for everything, because everyone's like, oh, the time doesn't match up. To me, every story has a different time.
Oh, huge. Because we don't know where it is in Arya's training that Jon was killed and resurrected.
Yeah, exactly. Like, her time, it could have been when she was a beggar on the streets.
Yeah, because we got the books that are off from the show. So we don't know timelines at all. Right? We don't know what the main point is where everyone's going to match up with one another. So it's hard to gauge times at all. It jumps all over, and I'm for sure time jumps all over.
And then, so what do you think happens with Dany, Jorah, and Dario? Because I know that they were making kind of a pursue.
So
Dany.
she gets moved, I guess, or tested, it seems like.
I think she's being judged by her crimes because she didn't come straight to the Dosh Colleen when her Cal died.
I don't know what kind of judgment it is. Like, do you think it's like?
I don't think it'll
kind of slap her up.
I don't think they'll do anything to her, but I always thought she would save herself with Drogon. But it seems like Jorah and Dario are moving in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he even says Jorah is kind of like the historian for this whole culture. It seems like he knows everything about them. So he knows, he figures it out once he gets that over the hill look at what's going on there. So I don't know. I think they're gonna get close. Maybe she does rescue herself. At the same time, they come to get her. Who knows?
Yeah, true. There's a lot to it. And then like Jorah saying that, I remember when he was captured by the slavers, and he said that they said that he killed a Cal when he actually didn't.
Yeah.
It could be his time to actually get that accolade.
Yeah, but again, we haven't seen how far his arm rot is gone, right?
Yeah, true. And
maybe
then
that reveals itself.
Yeah, and then with her, do you think she's gonna recruit the Dothraki?
She could pull some shit with the dragon. If she hops up on that dragon, oh my god, I hope not. But if she does, she could show like a sign of power, and they could come on her side. They seem like a superstitious bunch.
It's like those two giant horses. Like, imagine Drogon coming in and just mounting their stallion.
Or just smashing them.
It's like mounting their stallion.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny. But,
actually, I picture the dragon landing on that for some reason.
Yeah, so it could happen. But, even if she got the Dothraki, like, I don't know, making them go overseas is crazy.
Yeah, I think maybe she could get some following, but I don't know. I think a lot of them are going to get roasted.
Because I almost feel like Daenerys is gonna go over with no army. Like I feel like it's gonna be one of those things where it's like, fuck this. Like,
it would be such a convoluted loop for her to get the Dothraki now. Like for her to have to do all that stuff and go to Marine and learn how to be a queen there, only to come back here and rule the roost, just seems kind of crazy. But I don't know. I'm not interested that much in her story, at least this season. So I don't like how they pulled her from the queen to being the damsel in distress. But I don't know. I hope shit starts moving with her story now.
Yeah,
this
true.
Next one. But it looks like Jorah gets into a bit of a fight here.
Yeah, he does.
But it looks like inside, so maybe they get inside where she is.
I remember you saying it might be Dario.
Yeah.
Which, you never know. Because if Dario finds out he has grayscale, he's just one giant liability.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, why are you here? Like, you're going to infect everyone.
Yeah, so I don't know how it works. Like, you can't touch anyone? He got touched.
I think it's touch. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's touch.
Yeah.
The possibility. But, you want to get your mind blown?
Yeah, sure. You've been saving this for a while, it seems like.
Alright, so the description of the next episode is Tyrion strikes a deal, Jorah and Dario undertake a difficult task, and Jaime and Cersei try to improve their situation.
Yeah.
It's called Book of the Stranger.
Okay. Sounds like a Faceless Men reference, but okay.
Yeah, okay. So I feel like this is going to touch on many of the stories in the whole thing. So Book of the Stranger, okay? So the Stranger, think of the seven gods, the Stranger.
Mm-hmm.
So it represents death and the unknown, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which kind of goes over to Arya, because Arya that's what she's going to be. She's trying to be a faceless man. She wants to represent death and the unknown, wearing many masks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the Book of the Stranger. So I feel like she may be given a task or something in writing
Yeah.
that would lead her to do something, or maybe she has to study something. Or maybe it's Jack and Agar. Maybe he has some kind of thing. I haven't really thought that far into it, but that's one of the ones on the surface, okay? But then another one, a really important one to me, is Jon. Jon to me is also represented like he's a stranger because he represents death. He died.
Mm-hmm.
And the unknown of who he actually is. Is he a Stark? Is he a Targaryen? What's his backstory? And the Book of the Stranger, I think the book is the letter. I think the book is the letter that Ramsay sends to him, which gives him the purpose. The letter is saying that he has Rickon hostage.
Yeah.
And he wants to make the trade with Sansa. And, the Book of the Stranger, which is Jon's letter that he receives, gives him everything he needs to attack Winterfell and drive the story forward.
Yeah. But who is Jon Snow to anybody but the wildlings now? He's some awesome dude on the wall for most of those guys, but who is he to anybody but the wildlings? He's a bastard. And nobody that doesn't know that he was resurrected isn't going to believe him if they tell them. So I feel like it has to come to light of his birth, of his lineage.
Well, I think right now he's just going to be the leader of the army. You're going to have Sansa's going to take the job of rallying the Bannermen because she's a Stark.
Mm-hmm.
And Jon's job is to lead them.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to find out about his heritage later, and I think he's going to find out because of Bran. I feel like that's his journey. His journey is to tell Jon about his heritage.
What if Sansa runs into the Reeds? And Reed is supposedly the only other one that was there. Well, we know that from what we saw. He's really the only one that knows Jon's true nature, I would assume.
Yeah, like he would be like, you don't realize the value you have leading your army. Like you
Something
not only
like
have a
that.
Stark,
Or like, you might want
you
to
have
tell
a Targaryen.
Jon in this situation that he's an actual Targaryen.
Yeah. No, that'd be really cool. And then Book of the Stranger is also the White Walkers. I am like 100% certainty. I think we're going to get a White Walker kind of sneak peek in episode 4.
You think it's the one with
I don't know.
Bran?
But what I feel like it is the stranger represents, the death and the unknown. The White Walkers are definitely the unknown. We don't know their culture or anything about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think the book is pretty much learning of their culture and learning that they're not just a two-dimensional race.
Yeah, they're not some just zombie horde coming down.
So it's realizing that, they do have text. They have religion. They have this. They have that. They're a culture.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're going to get a small scene with them making us realize that they're not just two-dimensional zombies. Ice zombies.
Could there be something that they did in this episode that, like, fucked with the White Walkers? Oathbreaker, right? Is there something that they released or did anything? They resurrected them.
I think mainly the Oath. I don't think anything's like encouraged them more than they already are.
Yeah.
I thought Oathbreaker, to be honest, was Brienne, which would make sense, but it wasn't. It was mainly Jon just leaving the wall.
Yeah, but maybe Oathbreaker is Jon, and by them waking him up specifically, it just fucking pissed the White Walkers off even more. Because has it been known that they're coming for the wall? Because remember what I was saying about the weird way they've been moving? They moved from the Frostfangs over to Hardhome.
Well, they're coming south, and no matter what, they're going to hit the wall, right?
But they could have hit the wall a long time ago. So it seems like they're dancing around coming to the wall. I feel like they're not powerful enough or ready to smash that wall
Well,
down.
yeah, it shows they're collecting armies. Why did they go to Hardhome? To get an army.
Yeah, but why?
Right?
Like, why are they not? Like, I feel like they could get an army anywhere though.
Well, why would you, you might as well pick everyone off in your home turf and get as much undead as you can.
I guess, but it just seems wherever they go, death kind of becomes their army. So it just I don't know. I wonder if there's something to like the Night's King. There's a lot of things going on, and I wonder if we'll see what is the Yeah, I'm really anxious to see what is motivating those guys from.
I think that's
stirring.
what it is. Yeah, it's the Book of the Stranger showing that they actually are more than what they are, which I think is awesome, and I think that the title speaks a lot of different things, and even like it's saying that in King's Landing we're gonna have a lot of stuff going on too.
Oh fuck yeah!
The Book of the Stranger, we're gonna be seeing Arya, or not Arya, Marjorie deal with the holy text, and deal with, you could say the High Sparrow is in a sense a stranger.
Oh, big time.
Well, because he embodies all 7 gods.
Yeah.
Because he preaches it for sure.
100%. Like he oh man, he's a good character. I hate him obviously, but I love him. I hate him because obviously the situation he's put it in. But it seems so weird to say that too, because we're supposed to sort of hate the Lannisters for everything they've done.
It's like weird though, because I don't hate the High Sparrow.
But like it's so like you can't get him. No matter what you say to him, he can get around it, and that's what I don't like. Like he's almost too powerful.
Like there's one character I really hated, and that was Joffrey, but that's like about it.
Yeah, but it's like the reason. Well, maybe that's just me. The reason why I hate him is that shit isn't just against the Lannisters. It's about anyone. Right, like if Jon was in there, he would be breaking the same laws basically. So it just seems like he's like a religious fanatic, and it's
just a fair guy.
Well, yeah, fair, but it seems pretty strict.
Well, that's why. Like, think about it. Like, I like him because he came into this place where all the rich thought they could trample over all the poor, and they didn't have to answer to anybody. And then he comes in here and says, "No, we are all equal. We all have sinned. We all have done this."
That's what I think is cool about him. He took the power and reversed it from the evil of the Lannisters. But now it's like you almost feel bad for them because it's almost too much. Too much.
But
it's like
flip. He doesn't. Like, he doesn't want a higher position now. Like, he's happy playing God in King's Landing.
So it seems. I don't know. Their exchange, him and Jaime seemed like he was in it for a little bit more than just the religious stuff. And I
think it's purely religious.
But he can play on the people that he's talking to. So he's the sweet old man, pretends that he needs to sit down to Tommen, where he's the tough ass, not scared to die guy in front of Jaime.
Yeah, true.
And he's the good guy that comes in after the tough nun. Like he's such a I don't like him because he's too diabolic.
Well, let's just quickly go over the tease too. So in episode 4, we got a quick little snippet at the end of the episode. So we're gonna see Littlefinger.
Yes.
Littlefinger. You can do the best impression.
Peter Baelish. Yeah, he's awesome. He's another one I hate, but I love.
So he wants to rally the Vale's forces. So why is he rallying the Vale's forces? When is he gonna make a move on Winterfell? Like, what's his plan?
Who knows with him, man? That's why I can't even wrap my head around what he's trying to do.
And does he care about Sansa?
No.
Sansa? No.
Yes and no. It's not like Snape. I always somehow throw a.
You always reference.
I always somehow throw a Harry Potter reference. People must just get driving crazy.
I know.
But I have to do it. It's not like Snape protected Potter. Like, he doesn't have it in for her. There's not this forever love. I think he does. Right? He has a little bit of that, but he's always in it for himself.
Yeah, and then he didn't think I don't think he thought Ramsay was a psycho. Like, that caught him off guard.
Yeah, it didn't really seem like he saw that one coming.
Yeah, so now I think his idea is that, to me, he wants just domination. It's pretty straightforward. He has the Vale.
He has the North if he gets it back from Ramsay.
He thought he had the North. He thought that, he could come in with the Vale and swoop in after Stannis' battle with the Boltons and pick off the losing team.
Well, I wonder.
And be made Warden of the North. So I think he's going to be doing that with the Battle of the Bastards.
It could be, but I wonder what Sansa thinks of him now.
I don't know.
Like, he did really kind of, like, save her, but he did it in such a way that he's kind of shady, and then she ended up in the hands of Ramsay the asshole. So it seems like he's kind of got, like, a bad rep with her. Like, I don't know how she would be able to frame it any other way, but he did save her, but then at the same time he kind of, like, put her through the ringer.
Yeah, I know. So it's going to be tough. I think his role is that he's going to be like, let these two fight. And then he's going to come in with the Vale. And then they're going to kind of negotiate over who's going to be the leader of the North.
Yeah, but I feel like he's doing something that is going to get him either killed or have to sort of atone for what he's done. Is that I can't figure out exactly what he's done though. Like we know he killed Joffrey, did he not?
Who did?
Littlefinger.
Yeah, him and Lady Olenna.
Exactly. So like he has to atone for that, even though everyone wanted him to do it. So I don't think he killed Joffrey for the Starks. He did it for his own gain. So
Yeah, because you can't have an ally that's a mad dog.
exactly. So I don't know. He's like the reverse Varys. So that's why I like him, because he's one of those characters that knows everything that's going on, but his battles are of the manipulative type. It's not horses and armor.
No, yeah. It'll be really interesting to see what happens. The other parts of the tease we already talked about. Really, like, we're not going to see Sam and Gilly. We're going to see, I think Tower of Joy is episode 5.
You think they're gonna go into it more?
Episode 5, yeah.
Yeah.
Daenerys, I think... I don't know if she's going to be rescued in this episode, but who knows? Like, they're moving so fast.
Yeah.
What I think Tyrion's gonna be useful in this next episode. He's not gonna be getting drunk with Missandei and Grey Worm. He's gonna beat the Masters.
I asked you guys while we were watching it, was his glass subtly becoming smaller? Like first episode, the second episode, the third episode, has he been drinking less and less and less?
Oh, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if you see him drink a lot less when he starts dealing with the Masters. He starts like getting the politics going.
Because I remember seeing a scene. I don't know if we've already seen this scene now, because I feel like it was in that spot where he pours a little back into the craft. Like he pours a drink and then he pours it back in.
Oh yeah, I think that is true. Like he's kind of like, it's almost like he's like talking about like a metaphor.
Yeah, but I feel like he's trying to sober up.
Yeah, I know that too, which would make sense. So I think a lot's gonna happen with him. And it says here that he strikes a deal. So what deal do you think it is, and with who?
One of those 3 cities that are after them.
Yeah. So then, what do you think the deal is? Do you think it's dragon related?
Could be, but I don't know. Like I feel like they'd have to visit the dragons again for him to make it dragon related. You know what I mean? Like, do you think he's gonna pull the you can have one of our dragons as a thing, and then get them to pull some Dany shit where it burns the shit out of the Maester?
Like it's one of those things you could pull. Like I feel like what would force him down back to the dragons would be like, holy shit, these Masters don't mess around. Or it could be like strike a deal like, oh yeah, you can kill my dragons. You can kill our dragons. Like, and he like lures them down and he just hopes to God that they kill them. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out what the deal would be. It's like, or maybe keep them confined. Like, I don't know. Just some way to make peace to kind of hold the tide, I guess.
Yeah,
like, I feel like
what are their demands? So maybe that's what we would need to know before he makes a deal. Because is it the fighting pit thing?
I feel like the whole thing would be like, okay, now Astapor Yunkai and the other one aren't in your control anymore. You are the Free City and a Marine, but that's it. But then they're going to have hidden motives to take over Marine.
Well, because I think it's the biggest thing is the slaves, right? The slaves, they should freed all the slaves. So I don't picture him reneging that, because that's a pretty important campaign measure that she had to be able to be queen. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. I'm loving every episode so far.
No, it'll be unbelievable. And sorry that this episode is a bit late, by the way. We had a lot of crazy stuff get in the way.
Oh, yeah.
But next week, hopefully, we're very punctual. Yeah, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe. Anything, Trev?
Let us know your favorite part of the episode. I love seeing that.
Yeah, for sure. All right. See you guys later.
Later.